Guess what I got asked? Yep, the classic "what's the deal with this idiom?" Touch base. I will explain it, and you've got it covered today. Let me tell you a story. Imagine you're playing baseball and you're running towards the base. As you run, you touch the base to make sure you're safe. Touching base is like checking in with someone to make sure everything is okay. Touch base means to make contact with someone to get an update or check in. It's a way of making sure everything is on track. For example, you might say, "I need to touch base with my boss about the project." To remember the meaning of touch base, think of a baseball player running towards a base and touching it to check in. Or, you could remember the phrase "touch base, don't lose the race," which means to stay in contact to stay ahead. Let me share a story. John and Sarah were working on a project together, but they hadn't touched base in a while. John assumed everything was going well, but Sarah was struggling. When they finally touched base, Sarah was able to share her concerns, and they were able to work together to get the project back on track. Fun fact number 1: the phrase touch base originated from baseball. Fun fact number 2: touching base is also used in the military to mean checking in with a superior. Fun fact number 3: touch base is a common phrase in business and is often used in emails and meetings. Example 1: I need to touch base with my team before the meeting. This means that the person needs to check in with their team before the meeting to make sure everyone is on the same page. Example 2: I'll touch base with you next week to see how the project is going. This means that the person will check in with the other person next week to get an update on the project. Example 3: let's touch base after the holidays to plan our next vacation. This means that the person wants to check in after the holidays to plan their next vacation. Example 4: we need to touch base with the client to make sure they're happy with the product. This means that the person needs to check in with the client to make sure they're satisfied with the product. Example 5: I'll touch base with my doctor to schedule an appointment. This means that the person will check in with their doctor to schedule an appointment. Original sentence: I need to touch base with my manager to get an update on the project. Rephrased 1: I need to check in with my manager to see how the project is going. Rephrased 2: I need to get an update from my manager on the project's progress. Let me share a story. Jane and Tom were working on a project together, and they were having trouble communicating. Jane suggested they touch base every day to make sure they were on the same page. After a week of touching base, they were able to work together more effectively and complete the project on time. Similar expressions: check in, catch up, follow up. Opposite expressions: lose touch, fall out of touch. Related idioms: keep in touch, touch and go, touch a nerve. Let me tell you a story. Mark was driving home from work, and it started to rain. The roads were slippery, and it was touch and go whether he would make it home safely. Touch and go means that something is uncertain or risky. Quiz question: what does touch base mean? Option 1: to play baseball. Option 2: to make contact with someone to get an update or check in. Option 3: to lose touch with someone. Answer: Option 2. Touch base means to make contact with someone to get an update or check in. In summary, touch base means to make contact with someone to get an update or check in. Remember, think of a baseball player running towards a base and touching it to check in. Or, remember the phrase touch base, don't lose the race, which means to stay in contact to stay ahead.